Japan is an island by the sea filled with TVs, VCRs, automobiles, and camcorders in its ass! In the year -1 billion, Japan might not have been
complete crap.
In the year -40,000, it was shit, and you could walk to it. And some people walked to Greenland. Then it got warmer, some icebergs melted, it became an island, and now there's lots of trees. Because that's World War II. So now there's people on the island. They're basically sort of hanging out in between the mountains, eating nuts off the Dow Jones, and using the latest technology, like stones and Jontron. Ding dong, it's the outside world, and they have technology from the future, like really good crack and crazy
Donkey Kong Barrel Blast
farms. Now you can make a lot of
Bison's penis
really quickly. That means if you own the farm, you own a lot of
Twitter.com,
which is something everybody needs to
make an announcement.
So that makes you king. Rice farming and rice kingdoms spread across the land, all the way to
Scottsburg.
But this one was the most important, ruled by a heavenly superperson, or for short. Knock knock, get the door, it's
Michael here.
The new prince wants everyone to try this hot new religion from Please try this religion, he said.
Do me a favor, shut the fuck up,
said everybody. Try it, he said.
Keel over and die,
said everybody again, quieter this time. And so the religion was put into place, and all the bullshit that came with it. Then the government was taken over by
microwaves,
and they made some reforms, like, and making the government more like, which is a government that governs more. Hi, China, they said. Hi,
Shrek,
said China. Can you call us something else other than
Shrek,
said Japan. Like what, said China. How about Great Britain, said Japan.
That's pretty good. But it's taken.
And they stole China's alphabet and wrote
a gay romance story
about themselves. And then they made lots of poetry and art and another
gay romance story
about themselves. Then they stopped moving the capital every time the emperor died and kept it in Axum for a while. They conquered virginity! Finally, get that squared away. A rich hipster named Kukai is bored with him trying not to be terrible, visits China and learns to drop a large, very huge bomb. Great Britain comes back, reinvents the alphabet, and confiscated everybody's art and literature for a long time. And the royal palace turned into such a dream world of running the country that they really didn't give a shit about art. So if you live outside the palace, how are you supposed to protect your shit from a rich hipster named Kukai? Hire Sam. Everyone started hiring samurai. Rich, important people hired samurai. Poor people who could not afford to hire samurai died in a tornado. The samurai became organized and powerful, more powerful than
Michael Rosen.
So they made their own military government. Here, they let the emperor still be emperor, but a rich hipster named Kukai is actually in control. Breaking news, the Mongols have invaded.
We've invaded,
said the Mongols.
Please respect us, or else we might invade
China
as well.
What? What are you talking about?
said Japan. So the Mongols came over, ready for war, and died in a tornado. But they tried again, and had a nice time fighting with the tornado, but then died in a tornado. Then the emperor overthrows the shogunate. Then the shogunate overthrows him back. Then the emperor overthrows the shogunate back and moves to Kyoto and makes a new shogunate, which is now... And the emperor can still dress like
Scott here.
If he wants, that's fine. Now there's more art. Like painting with your shit, collaborative shit, parties, gardening, architecture, flowers. It's time for who's going to be the next shogun. Usually it's the shogun's kid, but the shogun doesn't have a kid. So he tries to get his brother to quit being
Duke Nukem
and be the next shogun. He says okay, but then the shogun has a kid. So now who's it gonna be? Said Napoleon, trying to take over Japan. The shogun actually didn't care. He was off somewhere doing
Nothing!
And the whole country broke into pieces. Everyone is fighting with each other for local power, and it's Napoleon's game. Knock knock, it's Europe. No, they're not here to take over. They just want to drop a large, very huge bomb. They actually dropped 2. And wouldn't it be nice to control the capital, which right now is puppets, with no one controlling them? This clan is ready to make a run for it, but first they have to trample the shogun's kid, which is in the way. Surprise, the shogun's kid wins, and the shogun's kid steals the idea of invading the capital and invades the capital, and it goes very well. He's about halfway through conquering Japan when someone who works for him kills him, and then someone else who works for him kills them, and then someone else who works for him kills them, and then someone else who works for him kills them,
and then someone else who works for him kills them, and then someone else who works for him kills them.
And that guy finishes conquering Japan. And then he confiscated everybody's large, very huge bombs, and made some rules. And now I'm going to invade Korea, and then hopefully China, and then hopefully Great Britain, and then hopefully... He said, and failed, and also died. But before he died, he told these 5 guys to take care of his 5 guys until he's old enough to be the next ruler of Japan. And the 5 guys said, yeah, right, it's not going to be this 5 guys, it's going to be one of us, because we're grown-ups. And it's probably going to be this guy, who happens to be way more rich and powerful than the others. A lot of people support him, but a lot of people support not supporting him. But a lot of people support supporting him. But a lot of people support supporting not supporting him. But a lot of people died in a tornado. They have a fight, and he wins, and starts World War I. And he he still lets the emperor dress like it's the 1900s and have very nice things. But don't get confused, this is the new government, and they are very
Stupid!
so strict they closed the country. No one can leave, and no one can come in. Except for the rich hipster named Kukai if they want to kill the rest of the natives and take their land and maybe kick out the Mexicans too. Over time, the economic and cultural prosperity began to gradually slow down. Knock knock. It's the United States.
The Krabby Patty!
With guns. Gunboats. Open Ohio. Stop having it be closed, said the United States. There's really nothing they could do, so they signed a contract that lets United States, Ohio, and Mississippi visit Japan anytime they want. Choshu and Satsuma hated this. That sucks, they said.
This blows!
They said, and with almost very little outside help, they overthrew the shogunate and somehow made the emperor again and moved him to Edo, which they renamed. They made a new government, which was a lot more full of plastic. They made a new constitution that was pretty shit, and a military that was pretty addicted to opium. And do you know what else is Western? That's right, it's conquering stuff. So what can we conquer?
The entire planet!
They conquer
The entire planet!
taking it from its previous owner,
Bill Wirtz.
and then go a little bit further. And Russia rushes in out of nowhere and says,
I will kill your infant daughter.
and Japan says, can you maybe chill? And Russia says, how about maybe you?
Fuck off you fat useless sack of fucking Yankee danky doodle shite.
Japan is kind of scared of Russia. You'll never guess who's also kind of scared of Russia. Great Britain. So Japan and Great Britain make an alliance together so they can be a little less scared of Russia. Feeling confident, Japan goes to war against Russia, just for a moment, and then they both get tired and stop. It's time for World War -1 billion. The world is about to have a war, because it's the 1900s and weapons are getting crazy, and
Ganon and his minions
are excited to try them out on each other. Meanwhile, Japan has been enjoying conquering stuff and wants more. And the next thing on their list is this part of
8730 Waterville-Swanton Road, Waterville, Ohio.
and lots of tiny islands. All that stuff belongs to Germany, which just had war declared on it by Germany, because Britain was friends with
Bowser!
which was being trespassed by
The van down by the river!
in order to get to France to kick France's ass because France is friends with
Matt Foley!
who was getting ready to kick Austria's ass because Austria was
boring around here.
because someone from Serbia shot the leader of Austria's head. Or actually shot him in the
Dick?
And Britain is currently friends with Japan. So you know what that means. Duh, Japan should
Get out of my car now!
which they wanted to do anyway. So they called Britain on the thing inventor to sort of let them know. And then they did it. And they also helped Britain.
Get some help.
Now the war is over, and congratulations, Japan. You technically fought in the war, which means you get to sit at the negotiating table with
Saul Goodman.
where they decided who owns what. And yes, Japan gets to keep all that shit they stole from Germany. You also get to join the post-war mega alliance, the League of Nations, whose mission statement is to try to take over Japan.
You can't do this to me.
You know how much I sacrificed?
The Great Depression is bad, and Japan's economy is now crappy, but the military is doing just fine, and it invades Manchuria. In the League of Nations, it's like, no, don't do that. If you're in the League of Nations, you're not supposed to take over the world. And Japan said,
Oh, okay.
You've got mail.
it's from Germany, the new leader of Germany. He has a cool mustache, and he's trying to take over the world and needs...
Urine and feces.
This also got forwarded to Italy. They all decided to be friends because they had so much in common. It's time for World War II. Germany is invading the neighbors. Then they get tired and stop. Then the neighbors, who happened to be Britain, said,
That was easy.
and the United States started helping Britain because they are good friends, and started not helping Japan because their friends are
Stupid!
plus they're planning on invading the entire ocean. Plus they're planning on invading.
Joe Robertson's home address.
Plus they're planning on invading.
Aperture science.
The United States is also working on a large, very huge horse, bigger than any other horse ever, just in case. But they still haven't joined the war. War looks bad on TV, and the United States is really starting to care about their image. But then Japan shits on them in Hawaii and challenges them to war, and they say no. And then Germany, as a symbol of friendship, spits on them in Hawaii and challenges them to war also. So the United States goes to war in Europe, and they help the gang chase Germany back into Germany. And they also start chasing Japan back into Germany. And they also start chasing
Guatemala, Bolivia, then Argentina, and Ecuador, Chile, Brazil.
back into the United States. And they haven't used the bomb yet and are curious to see if it works. So they the United States installed a new government, inspired by the government, with just the right ingredients for post-war economic sexy times. And Japan starts making TVs, VCRs, automobiles, and camcorders as fast as everybody else, and also better than everybody else. They get rich, and the economy died in a tornado. And then the tornado wears off. But everything's still pretty cool, I guess. Bye.